Someone who's telling yourself that a disaster is on the way if you make a choice to be something that you never dreamt you could be. When I left the professorship and I left an opportunity to have tenure for the rest of my life and a lot of external kind of security, and resigned and went across the country to talk about erroneous sounds back in 1976, everyone told me how insane that I was. But I've never listened to what everyone else said, because you have to listen to who you are. And I knew that no matter what, my inner voice has told me this is what I have to do. And you can't stop someone who knows they have to do it from doing it. The irony of that is that I made more money and I never even tried to. Never thought I'd make money writing, because I had already written a whole lot of books that didn't make any money, textbooks and so on. And writing was just something that I am, and it wasn't anything I could quit, stop. I didn't want to. I loved it. I felt fulfilled and so on when I wrote, and I knew that I was leaving footprints and all of those things. The irony is that after I finally resigned and did what I wanted to do, I made more money in the first year that I went out and did what I really believed in and loved than I had made the entire 35 years previously of my life, my whole life in 1 year. I made more money, and that isn't because I was lucky. That isn't because I'm Wayne Dyer and I had any opportunity. I didn't have any more opportunity than anybody else. In fact, I had less. I came from complete poverty and many years in foster homes and orphanages and having to earn my own way through everything. Wasn't that at all. It was when you advance confidently in the direction of your own dreams. You go out there to live the life that you have imagined. Success will chase you and arrive in your life in external forms in an amount sufficient to take care of your needs. It will happen for you as long as you stay there and tell yourself you've got to continue to do something. You've always done it because you've always done it. Then the only payoff you get for that is to defend your misery. It's like arguing for your limitations. The only thing you get are your limitations. And the people who love you, care about you, your family, and so on, will support you, consulting your inner voices and your inner signals and doing what it is that you know you have to do. And if you picture yourself being successful on it and you know that it's going to work and you won't let any other image into you, it will get stored away within you exactly the same as if you are out working on it. And if you guide yourself by that image and just won't let that image out, you can't not make it happen. You can't. It's that law of the universe, because an image gets stored away the same as an experience. And every obstacle you just see as an opportunity to see what I've got to do to shift and to do it. Meantime, you're feeling purposeful and you're being purposeful. You're no longer looking for a purpose. You are your purpose. It seems that we're smart to pursue an idea of something we want to accomplish, something we want to be very much. Even though it may be risky, even though we may be taking chances, risking failures, so to speak. And we need to do that even though we cannot see how we're going to succeed yet. Even though the whole distance may still be hidden, we still need to try. We still need to encourage ourselves to try. You just need to do. That's the key word. To do. Even trying is a myth without being nitpicking. You can't try anything. If I say to you, there's this pen sitting on this table in front of us, and I say to you, all right, what I want you to do is try to pick up this pen. No. Here we go. Okay, now in reality, all of this trying is called not picking up the pen. It's just not up yet. And then when I do this and I pick it up, there's the pen up in the air. The trying is man's invention. It's the doing. It's the doing that is important. And yes, risk-taking is phenomenal. I use the word myself. I have in a chapter in my book on raising children called I Want Them to Become Risk-Takers. And yet, I don't believe it's risky at all. I believe the risk is only our evaluation of it. And that the real risk, other than putting your life in jeopardy and jumping in front of a moving train and foolish things like that, which I'm not talking about here, the risk is there's several. One is that I will fail. All right, let's look at that. You can't succeed unless you're willing to fail. And you can't always be better than everybody else. Because if you're a winner by having to defeat everybody else, then you'll always be a loser. Because no one can always defeat everybody else, no matter how great they are. So that's not a good definition of winning at all. I've often talked about Babe Ruth hitting 60 home runs in 1927, the year he struck out more than anybody in the history of baseball the same year. If you want to hit home runs, you have to be willing to strike out. And failing at something is just an opportunity. If you're looking at it the way I'm talking about, it's just an opportunity to see where you are and to assess who you are. And if you're having to look over your shoulder at somebody else to decide how you're doing, then somebody else's performance is determining who you are and how well you're doing. That's called competition. Enlightened people don't look at other people to determine where they are. They say that's the person and that's how they're running and that's where they are in their music development or whatever it is. That has nothing to do with me. Where I am is how I decide to be. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting out there and competing in a tennis match or in a golf match or in bowling or in anything in life, but to understand that it's not to evaluate who you are and how valuable you are, but just to see how you stack up to somebody else. That's fine, and when it's over, it's over. That's one big risk. And when you get to a point where failure is something you welcome, because that's how you learn. You don't learn much from success except to stay the same. But when you fail at something, it's a wonderful experience because it gives you an opportunity to grow. To me, that's not risky at all, even though to many people it is, this whole business of failing. The other fear is that I won't be liked, whether somebody won't approve of me. Well, the enlightened people are independent of the good opinion of other people. They are not functioning and running their life based on what others think or say or tell them to do, but instead on what my own inner lights tell me to do, with the morality of, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else or interfering with anyone else's right to run their life as they choose, then anything that I do is okay. That's all morality is. Your right to swing your fist and flail around stops with my right to have my nose shaped the way I want it to be shaped. That's it. And so that's the only morality there is. And so you go out into the world and you are who you choose to be. And you know that some people will like it and some people won't. And the people who love you the most will probably dislike what you do the most 50% of the time. And if you're trying to run your life based on what everybody else is saying or thinking or feeling, then you can never get anything done. Because there's always going to be somebody, a large number of somebodies, who are going to dislike it. And every great idea comes from an innovator. And innovators are people who do things differently. They're not trying to please everybody else. Because when you think about it, if you try to please everyone else, if you try to be just like everyone else, what do you have to offer? If you're just like everyone else, you just have sameness to offer. It's your uniqueness. After a while, you begin to say, that's just okay. And in fact, even in my own relationship with my wife, if we have disagreements now, there was a time if she would disagree with something that I would believe, I would be upset about that. Not immobilized or anything, but like, how could you not agree with what? Now, if we talk and she disagrees with them, I just say that's her. That's who she is. That's what she believes, and she doesn't understand me, and that's okay. The greatest understanding you can have if you want to be enlightened is that no one will ever understand you. Because you're unique. You're special. You are a unique creation, and no one can ever get behind your eyeballs and see things as you do. You are always alone with who you are, and yet never lonely if you like the person you're alone with. So those risks stop being risks after a while. They're only risks to people who are just starting out on the path, who are just beginning to find out how easy all of this is and how perfect it all is. And the further along you go, the less risk there is. It just doesn't matter anymore whether you fail or whether somebody doesn't like it or whether or not it fits in. Those things just don't matter anymore. And they become less and less and less risky and just easier and easier and easier to just be what you know you have to be. I believe that success is an inner concept. It is something that is part of your own inner development when you have it inside of you and you cultivate that, and that's what I want to try to help parents to do with their children. When you carry that around inside of you, you bring it to every single thing that you do in life. Everything that you do, you bring it to your children. You don't get it from raising them the right way. You don't get it by closing the deal. You bring it to every aspect of the deal. You don't get it by focusing on your commission and how much am I going to get, and if I divide this and if I do that, and always being concerned with your own quotas. You get it by forgetting about your quotas and focusing on your customers. You forget about you and all the things that you're going to get out of what you're doing in life. As a happy, contented, fully functioning, no-limit human being, you simply go out and advance confidently in the direction of your own dreams and endeavor to live your own kind of life the way you choose, making every day a miracle, and success will chase after you and arrive in your life in amounts greater than you ever anticipated in any present moment of your life.